Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. All right, y'all. I know there are a lot of Beetlejuice lovers out there and people that are going to have all this nostalgia for this film because of the first one, and have been waiting years to see Beetlejuice in action again. I'm going to warn you in advance, there are a couple of spoilers in this review, and I'm going to jump straight into the breakdown right now. Okay, so the good. Look, seeing Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice again, that's good no matter what. The movie could be the worst movie of the year, and it would still be cool watching Michael Keaton on screen as Beetlejuice. Winona Ryder, she settles right back into the role. I mean, she's a grown-up Lydia. It's believable. You feel like this is where Lydia would go with her life. So I love that they did that. The addition of Jenna Ortega is good as well. I think that because of Wednesday, it helps her to fit into this role, and maybe she's done some horror, and she may be getting a little typecast, but if she likes these kind of roles, I'm here for it. I love actresses that gravitate towards horror and sort of things like that. Tim Burton, I mean, visually, it's hard to beat a Tim Burton film visually. So let me just say that visually, it's good to look at. All the performances are great, and you're sort of glad to be involved in this again after all these years. But on a side note here, y'all, and this is a good, this is Catherine O'Hara's movie, okay? She just gobbles up the scenes that she's in. She steals the movie from everyone that she's in. She's a totally underrated actress. She needs to get more credit than she does. It would be really cool if she got like a Best Supporting Actress nod for this, at least a nomination, but I just love her in this. She was so eccentric in the first one. She's great in Home Alone, but I feel like this is where her strengths lie. You know what I mean? This sort of eccentric, rich person doing all these crazy, stupid things. But I feel like this is her movie. Like maybe Tim Burton just wanted to see her again and on film and see where she went, because you'll see what I mean when you watch it. You really feel like her character is the best character in the movie. And I'm here for that. I'm fine with it. The bad. Okay. First and foremost, y'all, Monica Bellucci shows up in this film, and I don't know why she's here. I was expecting Helena Bonham Carter, but she's not. And I love Monica Bellucci. She's still one of the best looking actresses on the planet today at her age. She's a great actress, but for her to be in this film makes zero sense. Her character shows up at the beginning. She has this great introduction. She's in all these pieces and her body comes back together, and she's like, "Where's Beetlejuice?" So she's his wife or ex-wife or whatever, and she was using him to try to get back to the real world, and they had this falling out, blah blah blah, and she's been trapped all this time, and now she wants to get revenge on Beetlejuice. So she spends the movie trying to find Beetlejuice. So she's the villain, right? This is the most glazed over thing I've ever seen in any movie in my life. I don't know if it was intentional. I don't know if he was trying to pull the rug out from under us. She freaking finally finds the person she's looking for, and it lasts a whole minute, and she's dispatched, and it's just not fulfilling in any way. There's all this lead up, there's all this there's going to be this confrontation and this stuff, and they even show you backstory, but then it just goes nowhere and it completely falls flat. Look, no one ever accused Tim Burton of following a formula, but if there is a formula, we all know this, and there are certain beats, and you got to hit those beats, right? And if you're going to hit those beats, you need to hit them hard. And another example of a beat that really didn't get hit that hard or hard enough for my taste is one of the problems that Jenna Ortega's character has with her mom, Lydia, is that her mom can talk to ghosts. She can see ghosts, but she can't see her dad, Jenna Ortega's dad. He passed away. So there's this sort of struggle, and she's like, "Well, I don't believe you, you can't see dad, blah, blah, blah." So you know that there's going to come a time in the film where she meets her dad again, right? And I swear to you, when it happens, it's just another one of these glazed over things that they did. You don't feel anything about it. You don't have any sort of emotion about it. You're not like, "Oh, tears." It's just like something that kind of happens. I mean, when they first see each other, it's this scene in passing, and then they meet and they hug, but then it's just not a big deal. It's not as big of a deal as it should have been. There are just little things like that in the movie that aren't fulfilling. Like, does this film deliver on the promise of the premise? I think so, but another example, when Lydia sees Beetlejuice again for the first time, she sees him and there's this whole thing that happens, but then she needs him to help her go get her daughter out of, the afterlife. So she runs upstairs and says his name 3 times, and then he comes up out of the model, and he's like, the juice is loose. And that's the scene where she should have seen him for the first time in the movie, but it's not. She'd already kind of seen him a couple of times, and then she met him again before she called his name and he came up out of the statue. So when he does that, it's completely underwhelming and it's not fulfilling. And the thing that I always say about films is, number one, you have to deliver on the promise of the premise. So what are you expecting going into this, and do they deliver on that? And number two, is this a fulfilling experience for you as the moviegoer? I think Tim Burton had an idea, and I think visually it works, but I think that as a story, as a film, it's just not very fulfilling. The unclean, there's nothing unclean about it, It's PG-13. There's nothing I would worry about your kids seeing in this film. So overall, like maybe like a half a horns up, you know what I mean? Like it just wasn't for me. Like I said, I didn't find it very fulfilling, and it's definitely not something that I would watch again. And after all these years, it just kind of falls flat. It's like, man, we've had all this build up and all this time to build a story out and to tell a story that people are going to like, that are going to check the nostalgia boxes and bring in a new crowd, and that's going to be fun and funny and entertaining. And there are a couple of scenes where he does the thing where Beetlejuice does the thing where he jumps back and forth, where he'll end up behind you and he'll end up in front of you, and he's like, yeah, maybe, and he's got glasses on, and then he shows up, and then maybe he jumps over here and he's wearing a chiropractor's outfit and he's sitting on the couch talking. You know what I'm trying to say? Those scenes are great. Like, that's great Beetlejuice. But other than that, man, and Catherine O'Hara, it's just not my thing. So watch it. You're gonna watch it anyways. You probably should watch it, but overall, it's just not my mug of root beer. You know what I mean? So Beetlejuice. Monica Bellucci's wasted on this. They couldn't bring the story together, and it's not as fulfilling as it needed to be, and it doesn't hit all the beats that it should have hit. And for me, half a horns up, because I think visually it's one of the most visually appealing films I've seen all year long. So there it is. There's my review of Beetlejuice. Maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't. But either way, thanks for watching Trump Flicks.